Welcome to the online class offered by the Department of Botany, Marthoma College, Chingatra. I am Elizabeth George, and today we will be discussing enzymes required for genetic engineering. In the last video, we have discussed there are various requirements to carry out genetic engineering experiments. We will begin with enzymes. Enzymes are the major tools which carry out all the processes needed for genetic engineering. They are molecular tools needed for the alteration and modification of DNA mediating synthesis, breakdown, ligation, fragmentation, elongation of polynucleotide chains. If we classify the enzymes used for rDNA technology, we have three different groups. Mainly they are nucleases, DNA modifying enzymes and DNA ligase. DNA nucleases or restriction enzymes are of two types. They are exonuclease and endonuclease. We have three and more different types of DNA modifying enzymes: alkaline phosphatase, polynucleotide kinase, terminal nucleotide transferase, etc. are a few examples. Then comes DNA ligase, in which DNA polymerase and reverse transcriptase also belong. First we will discuss about nuclease. They are also known as phosphodiesterases based on the particular function they carry out. So nucleases carry out degradation of nucleic acids by hydrolyzing the internucleotide phosphodiester bonds. That is, they break the bonds between nucleotides. They are specific for RNA and DNA and single-stranded and double-stranded nucleic acids. So specific nucleotide molecules are broken down in RNA by RNA nucleases known as RNase, and DNA nucleotides are broken down by DNA nucleases. These can be either exonucleases or endonucleases. Exonucleases, as the name suggests, digest nucleic acid molecules in a stepwise manner from the terminal end onwards. That is, they break down the terminal nucleotide molecule. The nucleic acids are degraded either in the 3' to 5' direction or 5' to 3' direction. Only one thing is required: exonucleases need a terminus for their action. There are lambda nucleases which also belong to exonuclease family, removing nitrogen bases from the 5' end of double-stranded DNA. It is used for modifying the 5' end of the DNA. Other exonucleases, commonly known as exonuclease 3, removes nucleotides from the 3' OH end of the double-stranded DNA. And of course, this is used for the modification of the 3' end. The second group of exonucleases or nucleases are endonucleases, which cause internal cleavage of nucleic acids. That is, they cleave the internal bonds or internal nucleotide bonds. Terminus is not required for this activity, and they cause single-stranded or double-stranded cuts in the DNA. If the endonuclease makes a site-specific cut, it is known as a restriction endonuclease. There are also endonuclease enzymes which create random cuts in the DNA. These are commonly known as nicking enzymes. So both these enzymes are commonly used in the normal life of the cell during crossing over, recombination, replication, etc. We will discuss more on restriction endonucleases because it is commonly used in the genetic engineering technique. So first we will describe what restriction is. Restriction is the degradation of unmodified exogenous DNA. That is, an external DNA which is not modified is being degraded, and this process is known as restriction. This is achieved by enzymes known as restriction endonucleases. These are basically bacterial in nature, origin. The bacteria uses this to recognize specific sequences of foreign DNA and cleave it into fragments, and these fragments are known as restriction fragments. So this means restriction endonucleases are present naturally within the bacterial cell in order to provide a defense mechanism for them. So what these restriction endonucleases does is they identify any foreign DNA which comes into the bacterial cell, identifies specific sites and cleaves it based on these sites. The sites which are recognized by the restriction endonucleases are known as recognition sequences or recognition sites. And the cutting of the fragment, commonly known as cleavage, it may occur at the region of recognition or a different region. All these findings gave 3 scientists a chance to be awarded the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine in 1978. The 3 scientists were Werner Aber, Daniel Nathans, and Hamilton Osman. So they were the scientists who discovered restriction endonucleases which had specific capacity to identify recognition sequences and cut these DNA into restriction fragments. It was this discovery which paved a way for improving the genetic engineering techniques. Restriction enzymes are specific in action. They will identify specific sequences only, and they will not cleave other sequences or other sites. There are 3 major classes of restriction enzymes. Restriction enzyme type 1 cuts in random points outside the recognition site. Examples for type 1 restriction enzymes are EcoB and EcoK. They function both as an endonuclease and also as a methylase. So in this case, the recognition site is a 15 base pair long sequence and the cleavage site is around 1000 base pairs away from the recognition site. Here, this is a more or less disadvantageous enzyme in the case of genetic engineering because they identify random sequences and the cleavage is made in a different site, entirely different from the recognition site or far away from the recognition site. So commonly this enzyme or type 1 enzymes are not used in genetic engineering techniques. So one word about the restriction enzymes. These restriction enzymes cleave the foreign DNA which is obtained or which is found in the bacterial cell, and this defense mechanism or this reaction of the bacterial cell is commonly known as the restriction modification system. That is, they use this as a mechanism for defending themselves against any invading DNA like phage DNA, etc. So the first type identifies a random point and cleaves the DNA in a totally different place. The second type, type 2 restriction enzymes, examples of them are EcoR1 and EcoR2. It was this EcoR1 which was identified by the 3 scientists mentioned earlier. So that was the first ever discovered restriction enzyme. These are the enzymes or these type 2 restriction enzymes are commonly used in gene manipulation. The type 2 restriction enzymes either cut by blunt ends or by staggered ends. This is seen in the image provided here. So in the first case you can see there is a 5' overhanging end, that is the staggered cut. When the cut is made in both strands, it is not exactly opposite in cutting the two strands. One cut is made at one place and the second cut in the second strand is made a bit more farther from the first side. In the second section, we can see that there is a 3' protruding end formed from the cutting enzyme. Type 2 restriction enzymes can also cause blunt end cuts. That means both the DNA strands in a double-stranded DNA, when the enzyme cleaves, both the cuts are made exactly opposite to each other. So there will not be any overhanging end in both 3' and 5' directions. These overhanging ends in staggered cuts are capable of binding back to a complementary sequence of the opposite direction. So they are also known as sticky ends. Some enzymes are isozyme in function. That is, they are isolated from different sites or different positions but having the same function. Restriction enzymes of type 2, examples HINT3 and HSU1 are isozymes performing the same function. Type 2 makes cut only at specific points within the recognition sites. These are mostly used in genetic engineering as they cleave DNA at specific locations within the recognition sites. So the cut is made within the restriction enzyme's recognition site, and that is why we can be definite about where the cut is made. So this is mostly useful in carrying out genetic engineering experiments. The third group is type 3. Type 3 cuts in random sites. It is similar to the type 1 enzymes and they cut outside the recognition sites. A difference between type 3 and type 1 is they consist of multiple subunits that are encoded by different genes. Base sequences in the complementary strands of recognition sites have inverted repeats of bases known as palindromes. We are familiar with palindromic words like Malayalam, Mandam, etc. Similarly, there are palindromic sequences where one strand of the DNA reads in a particular sequence in 5' 3' direction and the opposite or the complementary strands reads the same in 3' 5' direction. As we discussed earlier, there are two types of cut made. One is blunt end cut and the other one is staggered end cut. Blunt end cutting, the enzymes cut the enzymatic positions at exactly in the opposite points symmetrically and produce blunt ends or flush-ended fragments. Blunt end cutting is advantageous as any pair of ends can be joined together irrespective of the base sequence. So wherever the cut is made, we can join the ends with another DNA. Second one is staggered end cutting, where the enzymes cut the two strands at asymmetrically opposite points, that is in a zigzag fashion. This produces fragments with protruding ends. As we saw in the other picture, we can get either a 3' end overhang or a 5' end overhang. So each cut end will have a projecting single-stranded region. The fragments may have either a 5' protruding end or a 3' protruding end. And the protruding ends of two strands will be complementary as the strands are palindromic. So when they come close together, they can align and form hydrogen bonds and return back to the double-stranded nature. Staggered end cuts are significant because they are having the naturally sticky ends, those which are complementary to certain sequences. So these have cohesive nature, that is, they are capable of binding back easily with the complementary strand or any other complementary sequence. The second type of enzymes used for DNA technique or DNA technology is DNA ligases, or otherwise known as polynucleotide ligase. We have discussed in molecular biology that ligase enzymes are molecular glue, while nuclease enzymes are molecular scissors. So these molecular glues or DNA ligases join or seal the exposed nick or cuts in DNA. So these are enzymes which are used to join the DNA fragments. The joining is done by formation of an ester bond without leaving any mark on the nicked region. So we are not able to identify where the cut was made after it is resealed. So if they repair the broken phosphodiester linkage, we won't be able to identify where the cut was made. These are ligase enzymes which carry out the properties of function with the help of energy providing molecules. Ligase enzymes is naturally present in all cells. It plays important roles in processes like replication and other functions. Here in genetic engineering also, they serve as the key enzyme which joins the DNA fragments of the host to the desired DNA and produces the recombinant DNA. Commonly used DNA ligase is from two sources, either from E. coli or from T4 phage. T4 phage is a bacteriophage which is commonly studied and used in experimental techniques. E. coli DNA ligase requires NAD+ as the cofactor, while T4 phage ligase requires ATP as the energy factor. So in any case, a ligase enzyme functions with the help of an energy producing or energy molecule. That is, they require energy for carrying out the joining process. E. coli DNA ligase seals cohesive ends of DNA and proceeds very fastly, while T4 phage ligase seals blunt ends and it can produce full base pairs. So this explains the second and most important enzyme, DNA ligase. There are polymerase enzymes which also have key role in carrying out genetic engineering experiments. Enzymes which mediate the nucleic acid biosynthesis, what we explained in transcription, replication, reverse transcription, etc. This includes RNA polymerases and DNA polymerases. We have three major enzymes. First one is DNA dependent DNA polymerase, which carries out the DNA synthesis that we saw in replication process. Then we have DNA dependent RNA polymerase, which is able to identify specific template strand and synthesize a complementary RNA sequence. This is the RNA transcriptase enzyme. The third one is the RNA dependent DNA polymerase, that is the reverse transcriptase enzyme. This enzyme is capable of polymerizing or synthesizing DNA strands using RNA as the template. This reverse transcriptase enzyme is commonly used for producing complementary DNA strands. So all these three enzymes, polymerase enzymes, are used for carrying out different stages within the genetic engineering experiments. So sometimes we may be isolating RNA from the gene and synthesizing a new DNA. So for that we have to use reverse transcriptase, because reading the RNA sequence we have to synthesize the complementary DNA and then convert it to double-stranded DNA and then form RNA and protein from it, or use the DNA for carrying out experiments. The last group of enzymes are terminus modifying enzymes. These enzymes helps the DNA to become sticky, and they also modify the ends of DNA. One example is alkaline phosphatase. A function carried out by this enzyme is when staggered end cut is made, there are sticky ends as we discussed. These sticky ends have chances of combining back with the same parental DNA. So in order to prevent unwanted or unfavorable rewinding of DNA, these enzymes known as phosphatase enzymes cuts off the staggered end. And certain enzymes known as terminal nucleotide transferase enzymes adds nucleotide sequences to the blunt ends so that they are made sticky and can attach with the required or desired DNA. So in order to avoid the rewinding or resealing of parental DNA, we have cut the parental DNA to add a desired gene. So there are chances that sticky ends of parental DNA can rejoin back. So in order to prevent this, the phosphatase enzyme is used to cut the ends, the staggered ends, and it is used for carrying out genetic engineering process so that it binds only with the desired DNA. So such modifications are made in the DNA using enzymes like alkaline phosphatase, polynucleotide kinase, terminal nucleotide transferase, etc. So all these enzymes play an important role in carrying out the various steps in genetic engineering experiments. So this comes to the end of this session.